What now for Labour? Leader Jeremy Corbyn's made it clear he's not stepping down after the mixed results of last week's by-elections, and his internal critics have by and large fallen silent. Jenny Coomer's been finding out the views of some of the party's MPs on how the party should move forward.
Victory in Stoke.
13,748.
But an historic defeat for Labour to the Conservatives in Copeland. The first by-election gain by a governing party in 35 years further boosts Theresa May's leadership, but has left Jeremy Corbyn on the defensive.
Mr Corbyn, is defeating Copeland a disaster for the Labour Party?
It's a disappointment. I'm very sad about it. I've been talking to people there this morning. We campaign to win it back.
Following the Copeland defeat, Jeremy Corbyn faced several questions about whether he was the reason Labour lost the seat. But he's determined to stay on, and at the moment a challenge to his leadership seems unlikely. But his shadow Chancellor, John McDonnell, has warned that a soft coup has been launched against the leader. In an article, he accuses elements within Labour and the Murdoch media empire of a coordinated and fully resourced plot to destroy Jeremy Corbyn. It's understood the article was written in response to Tony Blair's speech against Brexit, but published last week following the Copeland defeat. For veteran Labour MP Paul Flynn, tackling and moving on from internal divisions is key to the party moving forward.
Take a lesson from the Tories. They hide their divisions. Their election for leader took 3 days. Nobody noticed. We took 3 long, painful months where we knocked lumps out of each other. For goodness sake, put a socket to the internal rows, forget about it, and concentrate on our real task. Health service, welfare state, exposing the problems with Brexit.
Having won 2 leadership elections, Jeremy Corbyn insists he's getting on with the job. And speaking after the by-election results, he promised a range of new ideas.
As the weeks go on, there will be more policy announcements on issues surrounding the funding of local government and health, on issues surrounding industrial development and economic planning, and we've already started a series of regional economic conferences, so there's a sort of bottom-up policy making so that the desperate needs of people all across this country for secure jobs is a good one. We will continue with that work.
Some feel new policies can only make a difference if they show the party is listening to a wide range of voters.
I'll be looking for policies coming out of the Labour Party in the next couple of weeks, the next months, the coming months, that show that we've been really listening, to show that we're thinking differently today than we were 6 months ago, and that we're doing policy which is innovative, it's upbeat, and it is absolutely tackling the priorities the public tell us about right now.
But with reports that 7,000 Labour members have quit the party in protest at Jeremy Corbyn's backing for Article 50, a big challenge ahead will be listening and responding to the different Labour views on Brexit as the country moves towards leaving the EU.
Jenny Coomer reporting while Andrew Gwynn is the elections coordinator for Labour. You and others have said that Jeremy Corbyn needs more time to develop policies that will help Labour win an election. How much time?
Well, I think it's as much time as that's going to take, Joe, because...
Really?
Well, absolutely, because the matter of the leadership of the Labour Party was settled last year. We've had 2 leadership elections in 2 years. The last thing that the Labour Party now needs is another period of introspection.
Except Angela Smith, the Labour leader in the Lords, has said Jeremy Corbyn has a year to improve the polls for the Labour Party. Shouldn't there actually be a time point at which the polls have to improve?
That's not for me to say.
Why not?
What I think is the issue here, and coming out of the by-elections from last Thursday, is that we have got to have a period of listening to the electorate.
I understand that, but should there be a time limit put on it?
The right to be listened to as well. And part of that process is not just about listening to what people's fears, concerns, hopes and dreams are, but also then about feeding that into a policy platform so that we can then, as Peter Kyle rightly said, build up a set of policies that we can hopefully go to the country with and win the confidence of the electorate.
You can understand why Labour MPs are worried. They've got seats to fight, and they will look at Copeland and they will take that defeat on board. They'll look at the polls, and perhaps it's hardly surprising that even Diane Abbott, who's a close ally of Jeremy Corbyn, and Ken Livingstone have both said he's got a year So how long are you giving it? All the way to the next election?
Well, I've got a job to do as Labour's elections coordinator with Ian Lavery. We've got to put in place the structures to be able to campaign in constituencies, and part of that is also about getting the policies and listening to people. I've been in this job for 2 weeks, having spent the last 2 months up in Copeland. I'm very aware of what people are saying on the ground. I know the gap that is there at the moment, and how we bridge that gap is the challenge for the weeks and the months ahead.
And you haven't got that much support even within the Shadow Cabinet at the moment for that amount of time. Keir Starmer, another key member of the Shadow Cabinet, has said there is no prospect of Labour winning the 2020 election unless we improve, he says. Is he right?
Well, that's stating the bleeding obvious, I'm afraid. You know, we've got to improve. We are 15 to 20 points behind in the polls, depending which poll you look at. We lost the Copeland constituency. That means, you know, we have to improve.
Has Labour hit rock bottom?
And part, I hope so, and part of that improvement has got to be going out and listening to the public, understanding what their concerns are, but also their hopes and dreams. It can't just be on the negative. We have to offer a positive reason why a Labour government will make a difference to their lives.
And unity is important. John McDonnell wanted to make a lot about the issue of unity, and even the filmmaker Ken Loach has written in The Guardian. He agrees with John McDonnell that there is a silent mutiny of Labour MPs behind Jeremy Corbyn, which is part of the reason he says your message isn't being heard. Is that what's going on?
No, I don't believe that, and I think what we saw in Copeland and in Stoke, I can speak personally about Copeland because I was up there for 2 months, was a really united Parliamentary Labour Party. We had MPs coming from all over the country with the desire to win.
Right.
And I think that really embedded into me that the Parliamentary Labour Party now gets the fact that if we are going to turn around those opinion polls, we have to pull together and be seen to be working together.
So why did the Shadow Chancellor John McDonnell write an article just before the Copeland by-election and Stoke as well, saying that there is a soft coup underway, dark forces at work within the Labour Party?
I don't know about that. I've seen no evidence of there being a soft coup.
So he's wrong?
Well, I just think that my experience of the last 2 months in Copeland has been a Parliamentary Labour Party that has been more united than it has been for a period of time.
How damaging is it then to see an article like that for Labour MPs that you say have been working with unity of purpose by the Shadow Chancellor, part of the leadership team who wrote this article before the by-elections? It was published afterwards, but actually quotes from that same article criticising covert operations underway within the Parliamentary Labour Party. They were re-quoted to the Socialist Worker after Copeland. Is that helpful?
I'm not sure that that Labour MPs are getting that fixated on this. Labour MPs are looking to the future. They are looking about how we can start to re-engage and reconnect with our voters and to turn around what is a position that we would not seek to be in. We've got important elections coming up in Scotland, Wales, across England, the Metro Mayor elections as well. Those are our next challenge, that we are united and focused.
You mentioned reconnecting with voters and unity within the party. Why didn't Jeremy Corbyn talk to his MPs at the PLP meeting on Monday evening to explain why Labour lost?
Well, because that's my job. I'm the National Elections Coordinator.
He's the leader of the party.
Absolutely. And Jeremy addressed the Parliamentary Labour Party the week before. Now, you know, Joe...
No, but after a loss like Copeland, a seat that you've held for 80 years...
do not address the PLP every week. It was my job as Labour's election coordinator and as the political lead on the Copeland by-election to report back to the Parliamentary Labour Party.
Would it have helped, though, create the atmosphere of unity and reconnection if he had faced up to his responsibilities, which was the phrase, or the buck stops with him, the phrase the former Labour leader or deputy leader Harriet Harman used?
Well, I think Jeremy has accepted that the Copeland result wasn't great and that he takes a share of responsibility.
That was clear, obviously.
Takes a share of responsibility for that. I take a share of responsibility for that as well. I was the political lead and I'm a joint elections coordinator. We have to move on. We have to look to the future, and it is about reconnecting.
All right, Andrew Gwynn, let's leave it there. Now,